David, you don't want to pay $11.31 a month, correct?
Correct.
Don't blame you a bit, okay? I'm going to guess this is the highest car payment you've ever had in your entire life.
That's correct.
I'm also going to guess it's the nicest vehicle you've ever purchased in your entire life, too, okay?
Also true.
Look, what I'm going to say next is going to sound a little crazy. Remember this, what I told you about the story, okay? The math on this one is extremely easy. It's the story that makes it work. Look, this Explorer, as nice as it is going to depreciate over the next 5 years, isn't it? Okay, it's not going to depreciate as fast as they used to, but it will depreciate. Almost everybody knows that, David. But what most people don't know is every time they write a check, in your case for $1,131, and they sign that check, and they make it out to a lender, and they send it to the lender, most people think the lender keeps it all and you never see any of that money again, right? Well, that's not quite the case. Every time you stroke a check for a car or a truck, there's a portion of that money that is coming back to you in the form of a savings account, and that savings account doesn't look like a passbook savings account. It looks like a title to a vehicle. Because, David, when you make the 60th payment, what comes back to you in the mail a couple weeks later?
Title.
It's a title, only it's a way different title than most people have because it's only got one name on it. That's your name. It's called free and clear. You've got a zero car payment, but you've got a title that's worth, well, what do you think this vehicle will be worth in 5 years if you drive it like you think you're going to drive it, use it like you think you're going to use it, but you don't crash it, you don't trash it? What do you think it'll be worth?
25 grand.
So, 5 years from today, actually 5 years and 30 days from today, you've got no car payment, and you've got a $25,000 asset on your personal balance sheet. Now, let's take that $25,000 and divide it by 60. That gives us $417. Do you know what that $417 represents?
No.
Remember when I told you you'd write the check for $11.31 and you'd send it to the lender? And you said that you'd never see any of that money again? In fact, what happens, metaphorically speaking, is every time you write that check, $417 of that $11.31 is flowing straight back to your title. Okay? So, you take the $11.31 and you subtract $417, and what you've got here is a resulting number of 714. Do you know what the 714 represents?
I have no idea.
That's what you're going to pay to drive this vehicle. You're not going to pay $1,131. You're going to pay $1,131 to not only own it, but to completely pay off your trade-in. But when it's all said and done, 5 years and 30 days from now, you've only paid $714 a month to drive this gorgeous Explorer. I need you to okay that right there. Now, what's the difference between the way I did it and the way you did it?
Night and day.
Not completely night and day. No, you've studied you've seen the concept before. Okay. By the way, is this bullshit? When will this never work? If he can't write a check for $11.31, it will not work. If I've got David or you've got your customer on too much vehicle, it will not work. When most customers see $11.31, even if they can make the payment, are they going to push back? It's going to be the highest payment they've ever seen. They go, bullshit, no, not $11.31, no. Number one, $11.31 is for 2 cars. Number two, when it's all said and done, they're not paying $11.31 a month to drive this vehicle. They're paying $714 a month to drive this vehicle. What's easier to say yes to, $714 or $11.31? $714. Now, I've done this 200 times plus with real live customers. When the customer looks at me and says, read my lips, pal, I can't make that payment. I got nothing. Okay, what I do have is now I've got to go into a kinder, gentler takeaway with the hopes of switching them to a less expensive vehicle without them blowing out. Look, switching somebody at this stage of the sale is it's a desperation move, okay? But where was the mistake made? Qualification. The number one reason that deals blow out, this was data from 2021. The number one reason deals blow out is because the customer could not afford the vehicle. And are they ever going to say something like this? You know, David, this 1131 is a little out of my budget. I apologize. Back during the qualification step in your sale, I probably misled you some. Could we start all over, please?
Out the door. It's much time.
That ain't going to happen. This is when they need to pray about it, Sean. Okay? And this is when they need to think about it. This is when they have the spouse they didn't have 2 hours ago. Okay? You can't, the customer is humiliated. All right? But it's our fault.